Aggie
What up, college
Facts.
football fans? This is a new edition of Aggie Facts
Walt
with
B.
your boy Walt B. Now, before we get started, I need you to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because today is game week. Y'all know who we play this week. It's been circled since spring. We play the Alabama Crimson Tide. But before we get into that, I'm going to go through a little bit of facts and history about these Aggies, since everybody hates on us oh so much. Now, I recently got a comment from Lost Aggie 66 Charlie Anderson, who says he subscribed to a few channels, and there are a few channels that don't think A&M should be in the SEC. And I was like, yeah, I've heard that before. But, okay, let's dive deeper. Why doesn't the Aggies belong in the SEC? We haven't had one losing season. We were the most successful team to ever switch conferences and have winning records. Our first year we went 11-2, the next year 9-4. We're hated by two of the most known fan bases out there, and for what I don't know. Well, I know why we're hated by one, Ground Beef U, Texas University. And then you got Alabama Tide. The reason that I think Alabama fans are so frustrated with A&M fans is because we spoil their season sometimes. But I think the reason is that they know that we're the most competitive to go up against. Yeah, you can say you got LSU, you got Auburn, you got all those teams, but you know the real reason. When it comes for tick for tack, roster, school, all of that, A&M is second to none. We provide and pose a threat. That's why Nick Saban is the way that he is when it comes to A&M. And for y'all who don't think A&M should be in the SEC, okay, let's go back to it. We are the only team that Nick Saban has thrown shots at twice. Not once, twice. When we first started and we got ready to play them. He mentioned, oh, the game speed needs to slow down. You got schools out here running and we're not able to switch the defense. A&M brought that to the SEC. Or do you not remember? Do you not remember, fans? I'm taking all comments. I'm taking everything, and I'll respond accordingly. We changed how the SEC is played today. When Johnny came in, it put everybody on alert. We could have easily won the SEC that first year we were there. That LSU game, they pulled 2 touchdowns from us. And all Aggie fans know that. We could have easily been SEC championships in our first year. But they're not going to let that happen. There's too many politics, you know. Either or. But let's go down. When A&M was in the Big 12, we only won 19 more games than we lost. Here we are in the SEC in year 11, and we were in the Big 12 for 16 years. Here we are in the 11th year of the SEC. We have a win-loss of around 30 to 40 games. We won about 30 to 40 games and we lost. So, how is that not being successful? We have 3 9-win seasons and 1 10-plus win season. Yeah, I know it ain't the biggest, but we don't have one losing season. We in the hardest division in college football. We chose that. Let's sit down and think about this. And Lost Aggie, I'm comment. I want you to comment, man. Okay? How do we get to the point to where how do we get to the point to where we are not? Jimbo is in his 5th year. He's already had 2 9-win seasons. Yeah, I know everybody's looking for a national champion. Everybody can't be that. Everybody can't be that. If A&M don't belong in the SEC, let's look at the rest of the ACC and let's see who don't belong. Let's look at Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Missouri. Auburn's on the down spiral right now. Arkansas, how many have they won since A&M's been in the SEC? They're just recovering from Petrino with Sam Pittman. We won 10 out of the last 11 with them. Okay? We're undefeated against South Carolina, undefeated against Vanderbilt. Everybody talks about how the Aggies should have never left the Big 12. That's the main story. the funny part is that people don't really recognize that Missouri, Colorado, Nebraska all left the Big 12 too. These are known names, big names too. They took a lot of fan base with them, but everybody only knows the Aggies. They looked at us. If you have two teams to split the big pie and then give everybody else pennies, who wants to stay in a conference like that? You'll never grow because you don't have the funding and the money to supply your team with whatever they need. Let's go back to the SEC. Okay, Florida. Since we've been a part of the SEC, Florida's had a few good seasons, but they've hit a lot of bad rough spots. Nobody talks about Florida not being in the SEC because they own the SEC East. Now, I'm not a shoulda, coulda, woulda person, but think about it. If A&M went to the SEC East, how many times would we have been SEC champs, or at least been in the championship game? Let's say that. A lot. We definitely only have a few losses to the East overall. Now, I'll get the stats and get back with you on that. I'm speaking nothing but facts, okay? We beat Tennessee. Tennessee has been down for a very, very, very long time. But they still in the SEC. I'm not calling out no names. I'm not calling out nobody. I'm just looking at facts on how many teams have had down years since the Aggies have been in the SEC. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, none of them have won the SEC West or the SEC champion. So why doesn't A&M belong in the SEC? If none of them teams, that's pretty much everybody but two teams. No. Because you still got LSU. You still got LSU. You got Georgia. You got Bama. Who else that's usually really good in the East? It's kind of hard. The East has been down for a while, but they are coming up. Kentucky is playing good ball. They lost a heartbreaker, man. And we're going to get away from that history right there. Now, we're going to talk about this week coming up. How everybody talks down about the Aggies. The funny part is that they lost to App State, and then they came back and beat two top 10 teams in back-to-back weeks. And they still didn't look good. They put out heartbreakers, but nobody talks about how Arkansas lost to Alabama. This has mainly been a bashing of the Aggies and Jimbo Fisher. Like I said before, Jimbo Fisher is a decent coach. I don't think he's the greatest coach living. He really needs to give up the play calling. I've seen us just recently in the Mississippi State game where we ran a spread, and it looked really good until our quarterback goes down. Why don't we stick with that? I don't know. We have the tools. We have the talent there. Another thing, you're not going to win a national championship playing 28 freshmen on the team, and you hardly have any experience that came back. Who put us up there? I don't know. Yeah, it feels good to be an Aggie fan, but let's be real about it. We have a new quarterback. We have sophomores and a lot of sophomores and a few juniors and one senior. No, two seniors that actually start. Who's winning with that roster? All you fans that say, oh, yeah, y'all bought the #1 recruiting class. So what? Let's talk about the other 4 years he was there when he had top 10 recruiting classes. Just because he got 1 year where he got the #1 class of all time? Tell Alabama to step it up. Tell Texas to step it up. UGA too. And that ain't throwing jabs at nobody. That's just real, being real. If you want to have an advantage in this day and age in football, you got to do something. They used their resources and they went out and they got those guys. Now, going along this season, a lot of them players are going to grow up. But it does start with coaching and development. I believe they do have the coaches on staff. I just believe it needs to go another direction. I believe they're playing very conservative, very scared because they don't want to throw out there. The defense is playing bend but don't break. Yeah, we went 3-man front on Mississippi State. I knew that was going to happen, but we should have added more blitzes. They were playing great defense until defense had to be out there a lot longer, and it got to a point where we were getting no push. So you got to switch up the front and the stunts, and you got to send some backers in there, man. And that's going to DJ Durkin. Now, offense looked pretty decent. We had 2 turnovers in the first half, which could have easily made it 14 up going into halftime. Yeah, costly turnovers. It happens to everybody in every game. Now, with that being said, Bama fans, y'all are talking a lot of head, bro. It coming out the side of your neck. For y'all who don't know football, all that, we're going to murder you. We're going to run all over you. Yeah, y'all play a good game. Y'all beat Arkansas. But let's think about this. If Alabama loses to A&M, what does that say about Alabama? I don't want to hear that Bryce Young is out the game, because the funny part is Max Johnson may be out this game. Remember, we did beat y'all with a backup last year. Everybody says the same thing. Oh, I expect this to be a blowout. I expect it to be this. I expect it to be that. And Jimbo opened up a playbook I've never seen with consistency. We had trouble scoring against Colorado and Arkansas last year. And all of a sudden, we put up 41 against Alabama. Alabama's defense looks a little bit more consistent than last year, but their offense does not look like the same weapon that they had last year. They played a great game against Arkansas. They did show up for that game. But there still have been a lot of drop balls. There's been a lot of inconsistency, because we know the Alabama that we used to seeing with the pound it and run it all day long down your throat from the first snap to the last snap. It's taken them a little minute to get some rhythm now. So, like I said, don't come here being all rah, 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 because of what happens when y'all lose. And like I said, I'm giving 2 scenarios. This is what I always do on this show. On if Alabama wins and how much they'll win by, and how much A&M win. If A&M beats Alabama, how much they'll win and how much they'll win by. So, I would pump your brakes until that game is over. Don't be like, oh, we finna run it down their throat. Because that's the same thing the Hog said. And let's go back to that game. Oh, Arkansas gave y'all that game. I don't think really a lot of people understand, like, before that oink doink happened, A&M missed the field goal, which could have put it out further in reach. Talk facts. When you go talking trash to somebody, please come with facts. Don't come with well if and hallucinations. Because at the end of the day, this is college football. Any given day, they can show up. Any given Saturday, NFL, any given Sunday. A team's going to be ready to play. It don't matter how bad they are. It don't matter how good they are. Every team at this point is going to give Alabama and Texas A&M a run for their money, because they are supposed to be the top contenders. A&M has fallen twice this year. And hopefully these boys will pick their heads up and get ready for what's in store, because it don't get no easier. We got Alabama, we get a bye, and then we got South Carolina, and then a whole slate from there. So, my prediction is this. If Alabama defense shows up, they stop the run, and they can contain the quarterback, if they keep putting the pressure on and we're not able to get any consistency on offense. And then if they, let's see, if Milroe plays, I have to give 2 different situations. If Milroe plays and he's able to do a KJ Jefferson and rush out the pocket, gain yards, and keep consistently getting first down after first down and keeping that defense on the field and getting the ball to his playmakers and receivers and running backs, Alabama will win this game 48-17. Nah, I'm gonna at least give the Aggies 3 touchdowns. 48-21. That's my prediction if Alabama wins. Now, to the flip side, if A&M does keep Alabama on them heels on their defense, keep Will Anderson controlled like they did last year, I don't care how much head he talks. When a team puts a stop to you in any type of way by any means, that means your other players need to step up because they can control you and they will cancel you out. Okay? I haven't really seen no top playmakers on their defense other than Will Anderson. Now, if we get that spread, I like our receivers versus their DBs all day. There have been inconsistencies and drops there, but I still believe in our receivers versus their DBs. Now, if our defense controls that run, keep Milroe, keep a spy and keep Milroe on that, keep him at bay, and they pressure him, then I like the Aggies. I like them 35-21. Okay? I'm sorry. Let me go back to Bryce Young plays. We gave the blueprint on how to beat him last year. That's why Alabama did not win the championship last year. They were on their way, and then Georgia made their adjustments by applying pressure to Bryce Young. If Bryce Young plays and we apply that pressure, it seems like it worked for Texas, and it will work for us again. If we constantly get pressure on Bryce Young, I still believe my prediction is right for the Aggies. Now, if Bryce Young plays to that Heisman standard, keeps that ball rolling, flowing, and going, and keeps Alabama consistent on offense, yeah, Alabama's going to win. But I can't give a prediction on that score because I've already gave it if Milroe is going to do it. So I'll just keep it at that. But I definitely want y'all comments. Like I said, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Because I will take comments and I will reply to them in videos. And I also will reply as soon as I get a chance. So until the next episode, I'll talk to you when you talk to me. Peace.
Thank you for watching.